Alpha OneTV, Sabria to far near Saturday, near Chimo committee betting. Nase, Neho, and a Supreme Court judge, but quite an appeal. Na send you one my update no, in your update to anything. Mensa sorry, on an call for easy sorry, a kakabin sem kukuku. I just a name on me, a fabino, as you say, as a nimmerem, and not just a more yes animal. And because na go father and call for something, you need freedom, crown, no, a year Supreme Court, a year Chief Justice, because a home appear before court, and or a china or from the bar appear before court. Now we and a one of the Supreme Court judge, I just say nominating no. Afenyo mark and court Kesi be by I just say a ya dear Mensa ya can say what they are infringing upon some constituent at the first case and all. No chese. Saji Mensa and Crawford no more easy no at the end of my no. I will for the High Court on fan mundi or court so nima.
Thank you, my lady. We are done with the shroud issues. I want to pick your thoughts on the EC, and I'm focusing on the public criticism surrounding the creation of new constituencies, particularly the apparent alignment between new districts created by the executive and the subsequent constituency demarcations by the Electoral Commission. I would anchor the questions on Article 47, 45, 46, and 47 of the Constitution. So, first will be to know your views on separation of powers and the constitutional independence. So, question. How should the independence of the Electoral Commission under Article 45 and 46 be protected or interpreted in the face of public perception that it simply mirrors executive decisions on district creation when establishing new constituencies?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I believe that the independence of the Electoral Commission is guaranteed by law. So I do not see a situation where their independence will be interfered with.
Very well. Now, given the fact that creation of districts is an executive function and the demarcation of constituencies is constitutionally vested in the Electoral Commission, what, in your view, would you consider as the legal and institutional risk when these processes appear tightly aligned in practice? I'm sure you remember the recent situation in the Oti region. Is it Salah? The South. My friend Franklin Kujo has been very passionate about this. Of course, that's where he comes from, and all. With that in mind, if you could express a view on it.
Honorable Chair, I'll pray to be excused from answering this question. The reason being that there's a pending matter in the Koforidua Court of Appeal in respect of these matters. Yes.
My lady, specifically, just guide us. The sub judice rule you are triggering, in my view, must be put in context since it is not absolute. So please guide us. Within the context of my question, what aspects of the question juxtaposed against the issues before the Court of Appeal do you think would amount to sub judice? Should you answer? I just want us to clarify that for us.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Now, the legality of creation of constituencies or districts is necessarily a matter that is an issue in the matter before the court. Thank you.
My lady, I disagree with you, but I won't pursue. Now, may I know your thoughts on the safeguards that should exist to ensure that the Electoral Commission's power to create new constituencies is not intentionally or inadvertently be to advance partisan interests or perhaps entrenched political power. The thrust of my question has to do with how we can safeguard you as a judge. What proposal, what views can you express as part of enhancing and enriching democracy? What view can you express as part of the safeguards?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I believe that the Electoral Commission is independent, and I do not see any particular proposal that I can make that would add anything to their independence. Thank you.
My lady, in situations where clearly you see that the constituency being created is following a certain pattern just because there is a creation of a new district. In instances like that, do you think that it may require the court's intervention to place a limitation?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I would pray to be excused from answering this question as well. And I'm being very careful because the issue of SAL, creation of new districts, new constituencies, is a matter that is yet to be determined in the Koforidua Court of Appeal. So I'm very careful not to go into matters that are yet to be determined by the court. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
My lady, in the light of recurring criticism that the creation of constituencies follow executive interest too closely and emphasis too closely, do you think that our country's legal framework on districting and constituency creation needs any reform at all?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I do not have that impression that the creation of districts follow executive interests. I am yet to be to come to that realization, so I'm unable to make any suggestion or comments on this. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Now, you are aware that our district assembly or the local governance concept is constitutionally non-partisan. Do you think that in view of other jurisdictions like the United Kingdom, the United States, where local governance is part of the partisan democratic system, Ghana should pursue a reform?
I do not believe so, Honorable Chair.
What is your basis for saying that we should remain with what we have and not reform to make them part of the partisan process?
I believe that the non-partisanship of the district assemblies is better for cohesion and development at that level. That is my position.
Well, what role, my lady, if any, should our courts have, whether direct or imperative, in responding to the public concerns about the standard of political governance in our country?
If the question may be clarified.
What role, if any, should the courts play as part of the governance of the country to, as it were, enrich the political governance? You are here in this country, and I'm sure you follow the public discourse. Sometimes people criticize, people say, oh, governance standards are low, the standard is this, the expectation is quite mixed. As a judge who is going to sit in a court that determines public policy, do you think that the courts or the Supreme Court, let me be very specific, the Supreme Court has any role at all to play in the light of this to enhance the political governance of our country?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The courts have been given the role of adjudication, and I believe that if there are matters that come before the Supreme Court, which also hinge on political governance, and the court has to determine them, the court will determine them accordingly. And if that in any way would enhance governance, I believe that it will be in a good direction.
My lady, are you a registered voter?
I'm a registered voter, yes.
My lady, which constituency did you register?
I registered in the La constituency. I don't know whether it's called La, but it's at the La area, yes.
La Dadikotopo.
I don't know if
that's the full name of the constituency, yes, La Dadikotopo. Yes. Okay. Which area, which polling station or center specifically? The area you were trying to describe, the area where you registered. Which area?
It's at La.
La proper. I know, I lived in La. That's why I'm asking. I know La very well. So which area? Is it the trade fair area, La Wireless, or where the South La Nyaniba Estate area?
No. It's not. It's within La proper. Yes, it's within La proper.
Very well.
Honourable members, I'm inclined to overrule this particular question. What we should do in vetting the judges are governed by law. Which political polling station they cast their vote, I don't think on grounds of relevance is not required.
And you would, God willing, if you are approved, when you get the approval of this house, possibly through majority decision, you are likely to be on the bench for 18 years. My lady, at the time our Fourth Republic was birthed, would you say that upon attaining age 18, you registered as a voter, or the current registration where you registered at La was your first?
I registered as a voter. I don't recall when, but this is not my first. Yes.
Very well, my lady. My lady, we have had elections since 92. We have seen two major political parties ruling the country. We've made some strides as a country within the sub-region, and I say this because my job has gotten me roaming the sub-region, and I say with pride that our country is far better in relative terms. As a Ghanaian, can you share with us some of the shortcomings of how we do our politics and views on ways to enhance it, to make it attractive to the citizenry?
Honorable Chair, I don't have any views on that. Thank you.
Question be bro, what him say diabolic. Him say agenda account in your papa. Didn't ya? Who bisa Supreme Court judge say enva not tonaba. Constituency being constituencies being and autonaba. On chill be putting autonaba. And also question no. We should be muda being. Who Afenyo ma can ever putting out to aba. Or they are to public. No biti ho bisa question ya beboa ama the justice level na aba from because your time and the trust that Ghanaians or a court mon eba from. Sani sema eba the trust Ghana from nasa kosu about the court because they think say court one there is no justice. Meanwhile the justice at home so. Meanwhile Ghana moto ni freedom and justice. There is no justice at the court. Sana man for the eka. And more time no and no crying a protete. And no can be grandpa as see no. Mammy tokonia suspended because you see incompetent and misbehavior. And then you are debating me suspended these professionals. So as you speaking no, easy. Niema or you know. It be anything or no face a day like this won't come. Or no one can say a day like this a banner. And I can say it is finished. It is finished, Ampa. Because as you speaking of, that's sa constituency. That constituency now easy. I'm a representative in parliament. Sa 4 years. Kesi ni court basia. Said they are black man of the na no. Court basia. Yet once na 4 years now so me asa koto abafro. Now we are bad now bad time. We are doing bonus here mom. Na nipa no representative in parliament cramp ne kobazen. No ni bi. The same microphone be nya nsupa on fa ho. On be nya light on fa ho. On medication to say on fa ho. On more health to say on fa ho. You are in Accra enjoying with your family and getting paid with the same taxes are binding every day constituency for the amount. Because they are still Ghanaians and they buy things, VAT are on it. Need says Kanamo. So we and Yamatan say and still getting paid name. So the Supreme Court nominee nature say judge nominee nature say. Sa case in our court. So if say Afenyo ma kon wa dream be attach say we just like that say we there. Don't forget it. Rain fee no more fanche. or court that case no be an update the sense in bed then why doing this and person who are doing when it trim. A person who said the Supreme Court be an idea from so the baby criminal the Chief Justice is saving Nana. There be also one comment on it. Jay be a court. Just a court at the more babano on comment on it that. So if say Mensa and Nkrofo on forwarding command when we said the actions be or taking a baby a criminal as waba. And this is the time the coincidences and also a demanded justice. Just to improve the justice level in the Ghana. More every time Ghana for as a wishing be brave over the judiciary system. So the Supreme Court judge and I actually me Afenyo marking pay the fate of the AC and as a Mensa render that case na or money happy no about affecting a positive and a negative. Nini Jaima court the ruling beba and ye baby a trim na mona motesono and Ghana for it me it make a prejudicial statement. Oh, really because meanwhile miracle rampon article any grandpa munimo and something ye day. I can say a bay unanimously hampana. This one a different John Dramani Mahama a giant the state agencies and institutions and Momu Yomujuma. It is unpredictable. For this life a vetting process in the abroad, subscribe and share more news.